Let's go. Hello and welcome everyone to the Neurodisruptive podcast, the official podcast of the autistic community of Cornwall, refusing to accept a box to think outside of. My name is James. I got bipolar chronic depression and PTSD, and I'm an autistic person. My pronouns are he, him. I'm also an outsider artist, general problem, very awkward person, and one of the directors of the autistic community of Cornwall. And I am joined this week by Victoria Ellen, who is the author of an excellent book, which Victoria is going to tell us about in a bit. But before we do that, um, just a couple of things. I know this format is very different for the Neurodisruptive podcast. We haven't done one via Zoom or online before, so welcome everyone. We've switched things up. And in the future with the podcast, we're going to do a few different things with it to what we've been doing so far. We've got a few different guests coming up in the next few months. Hopefully, different hosts coming through at different times. So the Neurodisruptive podcast is about to go through quite a few big changes, and it should be quite exciting. It should be really, I don't know, really healthy for the future of the podcast. We're going to be moving away from some of the heavier stuff and moving into discussions on like lighter topics, discussions on what people are really interested in within the autistic community as a whole at large. But yeah, Victoria, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Victoria. I'm autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, dyspraxic, epileptic, and I have chronic fatigue syndrome, quite a lot. I am right now I'm a PhD student, but I'm an author. I do art on the side. I say on the side, but it takes over my entire life. Um, and yeah, I think that's it.
I mean, author and illustrator, because you have both written and illustrated.
I always forget that. Yes,
Mm,
yeah, and I illustrated the book as well. Yeah.
yeah. So tell us about the book. What's the book called? Tell us about your writing partner. Yeah, just introduce us to the book.
So the book is called, I have it with me because I always forget. Um,
Yeah, I got a copy as well, just in case.
it's Navigating Life in Co-op Mode, and it's a book all about friendship, like making friends, maintaining friendships, all the things that go into that. And I had the idea for it a while ago, and I brought it to the co-author who happens to be my best friend. So we thought it would be really nice to do something together, and why not write about our friendship? Because it's the one thing that we know really, really well. And I thought, well, our friendship has been quite rocky occasionally because I'm autistic, he's neurotypical, and there's lots that kind of goes into that. So why don't we write a book all about that and share our experiences? So that's how it started. We just thought, let's write a book together.
What's your co-author called?
He's called Iñaki Giron. He is Spanish. I think I've pronounced his name right. He'll shout at me, but yeah.
Cool, cool. And so you've written this book from the point of view of being an autistic person in a friendship with a neurotypical person, a very close friendship, and how to not just navigate that, but navigate it in a healthy, positive way so that both people feel welcomed, loved, and supported, which is really interesting to me because, a lot of the time I hang out with a lot of autistic people, and um, we often struggle to form those deeper emotional connections with people. Um, and especially like what you've been able to do over such a long distance as well
Hmm.
is really, really interesting to me, because I think a lot of the autistic people I meet day in, day out will tell me, oh, yeah, my best friend who lives over 1,000 miles away. It's like a really common thing within the autistic community to have these friendships that are very long distance. Um, and some of the book touches on that, which is really cool. Um, but what I want to know is what kind of what made you go, our friendship is like this and it's good and it's something that we want to share. What kind of got you to that point where you realized that you could help other people with that?
I
Um,
th I think from the offset, we knew that we wanted to frame it in such a way that primarily looked at like the positives and how to have a healthy relationship.
mm,
Because for us, things have been they're very up and down, as with like most friendships. But we wanted to touch upon the, okay, this is what we do. This is how we maintain like a healthy relationship. Because we think it's really important because I know as an autistic person how difficult it can be. Um, and even though there are things in the book that talk about kind of like attachment issues and trauma and things like that, we wanted to look at that in a way of kind of giving like strategies and things to say that although this is difficult, these are things that you can actually do.
mm,
And I thought it was quite nice in that I wrote all about my experiences and the things that I, as an autistic person, found difficult. And Iñaki also added his perspective on how he perceives the situation as well from a neurotypical perspective
mm,
and the kind of things that he does that I want to say help me, but like support me even just in our friendship and things that help me to like kind of regulate. And I think, yeah, we just always knew that we wanted to frame it in that way to show that you can have healthy, positive relationships.
mm. And I think that's one of the things I got from the book is that it is very positive about the power and support and the nature of friendship, and how that can not just be a positive thing in itself, but also provide that platform for the rest of life to happen as well. It kind of feeds in, and as part of that kind of very positive and very active sort of model of friendship that you show, there's actually a lot of like opportunities to interact with the book and do exercises within the book and to put tips into action. So what made you decide that that was how you wanted to approach it, in that kind of way of, we want to give people the opportunity to actually do something about what we're presenting to them?
I think I struggle with reading quite a lot, and I find
Mm,
reading can be quite boring. So I always want to do something that's interactive and gives people a chance to, because like the book is my experiences and it is meant to help people, but I want them to be able to use my experiences and actually, I'm trying to think how to word it. Actually, I can't think how to word it. There's space for them to write down about their friendships and the things that maybe they may struggle with or the things that they like, based off me saying, well, these are the things I struggle with. These are the things I've identified in my friendship. And to kind of act as a prompt in a way for them to say, okay, well, these are the things that maybe I struggle with. Because sometimes I don't always think about these things because life is so hectic. I don't sit down and list all the things that, okay, these are the things that I might need help with within my friendship. And I think just giving people a space to do that, to unpick their friendships. I just think it's really helpful to have like an
mm.
interactive space to write down all your thoughts as you're reading.
A word that springs to my mind is the word permission, because like, in theory, most stuff we don't need permission to do. However, because of the way the world is, we often need to have that explicitly stated to us that we have permission to talk about certain things.
Mhm.
And I think it's actually one of the things you do really well is you create permission by talking about it yourselves. So you
Yeah.
just, because you talk about your struggles and then you leave a space on the page for other people to respond, that creates that, call it a permission structure, um, where people are like, oh, I'm allowed to actually voice my struggles within the friendship, and it shouldn't bring the friendship to an end. It should actually be an opportunity for closer friendship moving forward, which I think is something you show really well in this book. And as I say, I'm only halfway through, and it's already great. Like, really, really great stuff. And the other thing that I really liked about it is how you made it accessible for people. And so, like, there's a couple of ways you've done that. So, one, there's some awesome illustrations throughout in full color. They are great, and yeah, just high quality drawings all the way through, which is really cool. Gives people that visual element alongside the reading, which is, yeah, just super awesome. Um, the writing within the book is clear. There's space around it. It's easy to read. My dyslexic brain isn't adding 2 lines of text above and below. You know, that's really cool. Um, and then the other thing you've done is that you've used the language of role playing games and things like status effects or status effects. I never know how people want me to say it.
Yeah.
Um, you know, daily quest and all these like types of things that are just, yeah. I mean, this sort of chapter title, like, kind of like, as a hardcore Pokemon fan, was great. Status effects, critical hits, and healing hearts, so good. Like, what made you choose to weave in this kind of like video game, role playing game language into the book?
I think primarily because me and Iñaki are both gamers. We play a lot of
Hmm.
video games. We talk about video games a lot. It was something that we just really both enjoyed. But we also wanted to find something that was accessible, but that people could relate to. So doing it through video games was a nice way to kind of talk about subjects that can sometimes be or feel heavy.
Mm.
And we just thought it was a nice way to kind of look at things. I think that was the main thing, like making it accessible, using our love of video games, and just bringing a fresh way of looking at friendship. I think
Mm.
that was really important to us all the way through.
For those who haven't seen the book as well, it isn't just worded like video games or worded like an RPG. It's the illustrations feed into that same theme. The graphic design is laid out in the same theme. So it's like, it's kind of a almost an immersive experience that kind of, yeah, it's a full brain thing, which is really, really cool. And like, that's one of the things I really liked about it. I'm going to be honest, I read the first chapter and I posted it on the Autistic Community of Cornwall Facebook page because I was like, people are going to love this straight away. So yeah, I'm a fan. Um, uh, yeah, but yeah, the other thing I wanted to really sort of dig into, and I think maybe this is the heavier side of things, um, is that as an autistic person, I find it really hard to know who I can trust and how far that trust goes, and it can be extremely difficult when you build up that trust with someone, but you missed something in the early days and it all unravels, and then working out how to maybe rebuild that trust or maybe build that trust elsewhere. Like, I feel like one thing that autistic people miss out on a lot of the time is seeing properly healthy friendship that is autistic, right? That is not based in a neurotypicalized worldview, but is a very much autistic thing. Um, what are your thoughts on sort of recognizing healthy friendships? Is there anything you would advise people to look out for in terms of, not in the negative but in the positive? What what things would show autistic people that someone they're talking to might be trustworthy?
I think you're definitely right. It can be so difficult to know when to trust people, especially like for me in particular, growing up, I struggled with friendships and I just had like really negative experiences. So I'm always wary of like, how do I recognize now,
Mm,
like the same patterns and things? But for me, I still find it difficult, but it's people that are supportive of you, people who have open communication with you. I find that's really important. Someone who's always honest with you.
mm,
Um, a big thing for me is someone who is accommodating. So, for example, if I'm stimming in public, they're not going to be like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And they'll just be like, "Yeah," just letting me be me without
mm,
having to wear the mask is a big thing. I found that I know that if I'm not masking around someone, then that is someone that I know I can trust because I feel comfortable to just be myself.
mm.
But it takes a while to get to that point and figure out, okay, is this a healthy friendship? Is this not? And for me and Inyaki, we've been friends for 7, 8 years now. And it took a while because I was always wary about, can I trust this person? But the way they are with me and how open they are to like learning more about being autistic and supporting me and listening to me when I've got a problem, that kind of thing, it's made me realize that, okay, yes, actually, I can trust this person. But it does take a while to kind of recognize that.
I think that's a really big key. Is like, I feel like friendships have to have some kind of basis within curiosity, where someone wants to know more all the time and doesn't come into things with like a view of, here's what a friendship between two people must look like every time. Like, um, like one of my closest friends lives in America, and with them, it's like they are a fundamentally curious person, right? And so they're not looking for me to respond in the set way that has been laid out for generations, supposedly, and they're not looking for me to fulfill a role. They're curious to see what role I will fulfill,
Mhm.
right? It's a kind of openness that
Yeah.
I it's what I value in a friendship and what I try to be. It's just, and I think approaching most of life like that is be curious. I think curiosity is a really healthy thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I've always said don't because I'm a person who always has like expectations, don't have any expectations.
Mm,
Just, yeah, just having that openness can be really helpful because I know Iñaki originally had expectations and understanding of what he thought autism was and how it should look. But then he became friends with me and things changed and he started asking questions. He wanted to know more. And I really value that. But the fact that it's having that openness that, okay, our friendship might look a bit different because no two friendship is going to be the same. Um, I think that's another thing that makes a healthy friendship, not
mm.
setting those expectations.
Yeah, like yeah, limits is kind of a, we have to have boundaries. That's always important, but also often we can mistake having boundaries with an inflexibility to learning about who someone is. And I think we've got to find balance between those
Yeah,
two things where we have to have our boundaries. That's essential, right? That's safety, that's,
yeah,
health. That's good stuff. But there's a difference, and I'm probably repeating myself in a way now, but there's a difference between having boundaries and having judgmental preconceived ideas of who a person is allowed
yeah,
to be. Um, and I think that's something that, as I say, halfway through, that's something the book does really well is almost instill that sense of it's going to look different, but that's exciting.
yeah.
Um, and that's I'm looking forward to reading the rest because yeah, that's going to be great. But um, I think that kind of base level of interest is always going to be there as a foundation of a healthy friendship.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, anyway, you're a genuinely extremely interesting human being in many different ways because you're an artist. Um, if you want to talk about your art, feel free. Let me know. You're also doing a PhD. What's your PhD in?
It's in psychology as a department, but it's autism focused,
Nice.
obviously.
Well, one day we'll be able to study neurotypicals properly, find
Yes.
out what they're doing. Um, so yeah, what are you find? How are you finding that? Are you enjoying that? Are you, the academia side and
I am enjoying it. It's really, really, really hard work.
mm,
And my brain doesn't like to focus, but I'm due to submit all my work in like a week. So that's scary. But it's taken me a long time because my PhD is my main thing, but I also like write books at the same time. And obviously, I want to write my book. So that becomes the focus, and everything else is just like, not that it's not important, it's just that the hyper focus on the
mm,
creative, fun stuff is more enjoyable.
yeah. So what are you writing at the moment?
At the moment, I started writing a book about transitioning to high school. I started writing a book with my mum, for parents. I started making two coloring books, which I haven't finished. I've started a kid's book about an alien, and I think that's it. But I've started loads of things that I
Yeah.
just haven't finished.
Sounds like my situation with my publisher. Every so often, I get, I'll sell a copy of my first book, right? And I'll get an email from the publisher saying, "You've sold a copy of your book. Here's, your share of it." Um, Oh, and by the way, we'd love to do book two whenever you're ready. It's I don't know, probably 7 years ago, like now, um, because I've started it and I haven't finished it, and I've just decided I'm going to do a project where I write a series of books, and I don't know if I'm ever going to finish them. um, but yeah, I know that feeling well. It's like there's so many ideas that sometimes it's hard to kind of like finish one before the next wave of idea comes, and your hyper focus is just there, in a completely different place. um
Oh,
I think it's
yes.
yeah. Hyper focus and monotropism can be useful, but also if the tides of the monotrope go in the wrong direction, you're in trouble, right?
Oh, completely. Yeah.
Yeah. um so so you got all these books that you're working on, you got your PhD, which is more than enough.
Hmm.
But you also talk about being autistic online as well, which is really cool. Can you tell us more about how you got into doing that?
Yeah. I I think 2017 I got my diagnosis and I wanted to find people, other autistic people, people that I could kind of talk to and be like, "Hey, I've just been diagnosed and basically left. What do I do?" Like, because it's really confusing. I was like really confused. I was like, "Yes, I'm autistic, but now what?" So I went online and started looking on social media, reading blogs, trying to find people that I could relate to, and it was really difficult. So then I decided, well, actually, I could do this. Why don't I set up like an Instagram and a Facebook? And I did. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. I didn't think that I'd grow as much as I did. It just kind of happened because I think people just found my relatable because I talk a lot. I talk a lot. I've got pink and blue hair. I'm a bit different and a bit weird. And I think people just like that. So I just make random videos and drawings on the internet
Mm.
and people just like it.
But I think that's the whole point, isn't it? Like, and I think that's one of the um, great things about many autistic people is that often our greatest strength comes out when we just turn up and be ourselves. Like, and I'm learning more and more. My diagnosis was only like 2 or 3 years ago now. Um, and I'm learning more and more that the more I find these opportunities where it's safe to be myself, the more I'm able to connect with people, which sort of
Yeah.
ties back into the whole friendship thing. Um, and having that space to be ourselves is really, really important. Um, and yeah, like finding that on the internet is a special thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
um,
that's I think that's why most of my friendships are online because I find people with similar interests. There's no
mm,
one like where I live that I'd necessarily get on with or be friends with, I guess. So most of the people I'm friends with are primarily autistic and I've found online because I think they just get it and you can just be yourself.
mm. Yeah, I think that's my experience too. Where you know, one of my closest friends lives in America. Another one of my closest friends lives up near you in Manchester and that. Um, um, you know, others of my close friends live in like, I don't know, Colombia or, all over the world. I've got friends scattered, but it's very, very hard to form connections in the local area, and I think that's partly why um, the founders set up the autistic community of Cornwall, was to facilitate those friendships forming. Um, and so hopefully that'll work, and hopefully I can get a lot of our members to read your book and connect with these ideas of, forming and building healthy friendships, and um, connecting with each other and connecting with neurotypicals and ADHDers and or as many people as possible. Um, and yeah, hopefully sort of build up this network across the county and then even further out.
I love
Um,
that. I think as well, if you have never had a healthy friendship or you don't know what a healthy friendship looks like, how are you going to then go and make said healthy friendship?
mm,
Especially if there's no one around you that you would be friends with, or I don't know, have shared interests with. So having something like that in Cornwall is great, so that
mm.
you can meet people in like a safe space. You can kind of be yourself and kind of look at, okay, this is what a healthy friendship is. Because if you don't know, you don't know.
No, exactly. That's the thing. Like, and unlike our neurotypical peers, autistic people don't get to see healthy friendships on TV between autistic people and neurotypical people. We don't get to see friendships built on equal power and equal, you know, on equality, and so I think it's important that as autistic people, we start to make our own media and tell our own stories, um, because, well, like we've spent years trying to convince the neurotypicals to tell our stories, and we get a subplot on some soap, maybe occasionally, um, and we don't get much more.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we do get Chris Packham, which I think is, a good, you know,
Yeah.
um, you know, I'll accept Chris Packham, and um, yeah, maybe not so much Paddy McGuinness, but Chris Packham, yeah,
Yeah, I like
we'll,
Chris
we'll have,
Packer.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we should bring the episode to a close. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me. Um, yeah, it's your book is great. Where can we get the book?
The book it's on Amazon, but you can also buy it online from Waterstones and a few other places, I think. I'm not sure how it works, but primarily Amazon is the place to go, I'd say.
Is it also on Bookshop as well? Because my deal with my publisher is that it's published through Amazon and on Bookshop. And if you go into a local bookshop, particularly like a Waterstones or a first-hand bookshop, they can order it for you via Amazon. I th-
I
I'm
did I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
no, it's not.
yeah, okay. Um, but yeah, okay, cool. No, so yeah, it's on Amazon. I'll put a
Yes.
link to it in the description. Let people know where they can get it. What are your socials? Where can people follow you?
Um, all my social media is just the same. It's at actually Aspling.
Cool. And again, I'll put that in the description, so it's available for people. Um, and where can we follow Inaki as well?
Oh, he only has a personal Instagram. He doesn't
Okay, well don't
have,
don't dox it. Don't dox him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't really do very much.
Mm,
Like literally, it's been difficult at the moment because he's just got a job.
mm,
So we're navigating that he's not around as much anymore. But he doesn't use social media really
yeah.
that much. So yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Cool. Um, yeah. So The book is called Navigating Life in Co-op Mode. It's by you,
Yeah.
Victoria Allen,
Hmm.
and I'm going to pronounce this wrong. So can you attempt?
Um, Iñaki Giron. I always
Iñaki
say his,
Giron.
I always say it wrong. I
Okay.
don't have the Spanish accent.
Yeah, yeah. There's some letters that just don't exist in English.
Yeah.
Like, um, but yeah, uh, and yeah, it's available on Amazon. I highly recommend it. Hopefully soon a whole load of other people will highly recommend it as well because I'm going to try and get as many people around here as I can to get in on it because I do think it is really great. So thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much for joining me. Um, for everyone listening at home, this has been the Neurodisruptive podcast, refusing to accept a box to think outside of. Um, we're here hopefully every 2 weeks from now on, returning to our usual schedule after a bit of time off. I got 14 teeth removed, which for anyone who's wondering is a lot. Um, and yeah, a few other things happened, but hopefully we're back to our regular release schedule. Things are going to be looking a little bit different moving forward. Yeah, have excellent days. Be excellent to each other. If you're in Cornwall, then Google search the autistic community of Cornwall.com. No, .org. We're a .org. I always forget we're a .org. Um, and yeah, that'll connect you up with us. Click on the word join and you can join us and come to our gatherings, which are coming soon to a town in Cornwall near you, hopefully. I've got to set up like five before Christmas because I've got so many places that are like almost there, ready to go. But yeah, it's gonna be great. But yeah, anyway, have good days, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.